We're here at ISE 2026 to talk about the topic that is on everybody's mind. Of course, it's artificial intelligence, AI, and its wider impact on the industry and beyond. Today, I'm joined by Rashidi, the first AI officer in business.
You're aging me, but yes, it is true, 2016.
No, I think it's a wonderful title to be proud of. Tell me a bit about your journey, because you've had quite an extraordinary career in your lead up to this, haven't you?
I couldn't plan it, even if I tried. You know, my running joke is I started out as a rugby player. I wanted to play professional sports my entire life. And then, you know, you get older, injuries happen, you don't recover, and then you're like, all right, I got to get a real job. So I became a data analyst, data engineer, business analyst, project manager. At some point in time, I even had a position in sales, which I did not like. But, you know, I always say I was at the wrong place, wrong time, and I said yes to the right thing. And I got into the data space. And I became a master data management lead for IBM at the time, leading these global ERP deployments. And then one thing led to another. It went from master data to data governance to just data quality, data catalog, all the stuff that we are like, yeah, you guys go do. We're going to work on the more glamorous stuff. But I was at IBM, and then in 2011, Watson beat Ken Jennings in Jeopardy, and that was the pivotal moment. IBM said, we're ready to take Watson to market, we're ready to commercialize it, we're ready to make it available for enterprises, not consumers, and you can't do AI without data. So me and a few others went over and we helped launch Watson, we helped launch Watson. Lots of fun, fast, early mistakes, if you will. You don't know what you don't know until you actually put something out into production. So Watson was the start of it, and I was there for about 4.5 years. And then I eventually became a partner at Ernst & Young and helping them establish their digital innovation and digital transformation practice. And then 9 months later, my first client hired me as their chief AI officer back in 2016. And ever since then, I've always worked for Fortune 100s that have hired me. Either they've had false starts with data and advanced analytics and AI, or they were finally ready to say, we are going to be data-driven, we are going to be AI-led. And they would bring me in as their chief AI officer, chief data officer, chief analytics officer, chief data and analytics officer, whatever the title was. So that's just how the whole thing evolved. I couldn't have planned it at all. You just kind of sometimes have to go with the flow and just say yes to things.
It's a true snowball effect, isn't it? And sometimes 100%. You don't know that you're blazing a trail until you look back and see it behind you.
Oh boy, right? I was blazing all right.
I'm sure.
It's just one of those things where the role was never really defined. You didn't know your scope. You didn't understand necessarily what you needed to be built. There was a concept, a theory of what they wanted to do, but in every single position I had, I learned exactly what people didn't want, but they could never articulate what they actually wanted. You know, when I ask executives, can you define artificial intelligence for me? I'll ask 6, I'll probably get 16 different responses. The fact of the matter is it's a feeling, it's a sentiment, but no one can put their finger on the pulse of yay or nay. And so a lot of it was navigating just the terrain. And I always say it's helped me develop a backbone where I think most of the time I must have had a wishbone, because I'm like, I wish it would just be easier. I wish there was less resistance. I wish the human aspect of it and what we used to call change management of it was just a lot easier, because my biggest lesson learned was it's actually not the technology, it's the human behavior that needs to change that's going to help you achieve the adoption that most are chasing right now. So it's been an interesting ride.
Absolutely. There's the problem we've had for a few years of the ambiguity surrounding AI and its usage, especially in the AI industry and the AV industry, where it has been a little bit of a buzzword from time to time. How do we really lead with artificial intelligence rather than just follow the crowd and say, well, this is just AI enabled? What does that really mean?
Well, I have a running joke that generative AI is going to become generic AI if everyone's using it. So I would say that step 1 is don't assume if you're using Gemini, Grok, ChatGPT that you're AI native. It's table stakes, it's bare minimum, but that isn't really catapulting you into the next level. And I think if you take a look at the trajectory, right? 2023 was full of excitement. ChatGPT was released, everyone was, this is amazing. 2024 was about engagement, let's do proof of concepts. 2025 was about experiencing the realities of what it actually takes to convert these proof of concepts into production. And quite frankly, I think this year is going to be the year of expectations. Everyone wants the ROI on their AI investments because the numbers are grim. And there's 2 narratives in the marketplace that I just wish we could change. One, that AI's primary value is a cost-cutting value generator. I don't agree with that. I think productivity and efficiency are early metrics that you should use to measure, but doing more of the wrong things is not making you more effective. I wish companies would pivot into measuring effectiveness, which is what I'm trying to launch with my human amplification platform. It's an index that helps you measure, are you being effective in both growing the business and growing your workforce in the age of AI? So we can start changing the narrative from this isn't a cost-cutting value generator, but an augmentation value generator. And I want more and more individuals, once you've gotten beyond past, these are my 3 favorite tools, to start thinking about the augmentation aspect of it. That's like the first. The second is, it was never, again, meant to displace or replace us, but to amplify our day-to-day. But we also have a responsibility. You know, we're a society that's started preferring speed over substance, convenience over comprehension, and it's so easy to copy and paste whatever the output of that large language model is into your PowerPoint, into your email. But I'm trying to encourage everyone, whatever you do not lose your critical thinking and your ability to discern, because the currency of human value is changing in real time right now, and in 2 to 3 years, your value is going to look different. So you have to continue to be able to think independently, deeply, autonomously, so that you can provide value in the future, because we are pivoting from an age of doing to overseeing. And so critical thinking and discernment are going to be your 2 power attributes.
It's very much a tight line to walk for a lot of companies, and yes. I think the question on a lot of everybody's minds really is going to be how do we do this? You are presenting a keynote here at ISE 2026. Yeah. Tell me about the sort of topics that you're going to be covering during your keynote speech, because I'm sure there are so many companies here and so many people that want to understand how they can really harness AI for good in their companies, for the benefit of their culture rather than to the detriment.
I would say what distinguishes me from others who do keynotes is I'm a practitioner. I'm not a professional speaker. I don't make a living out of advising. You know, even though I advise a lot of companies, for me, I'm a practitioner. I've been building the darn things. So now I think there's just a lot of education that needs to be shared without the biases of pushing a product or pushing a vendor or pushing a business. That's my primary motive. So in today's keynote, we're going to talk about sort of the real state of AI and the stuff that's not shared because it's not commercially popular. We're going to talk about some of the lessons learned, why we're hearing about the proof points of 74 to 88% of AI projects don't make it past POC. They stop, cancel, or fail. What's holding them back? So the lessons learned from there. I'm going to share some mental models with the audience of as you're moving forward as an employee, as an executive, as a parent, as an aunt or uncle. How are you now leading generations that you have a responsibility for mentoring, formally or informally? And then some of the mental models to take into consideration when you're looking at use cases and doing the deployments. And then ultimately preparation. I'm very proud that I'm a senior fellow at Harvard, and we are talking about Workforce 4.0 and workforce preparation in the age of AI. What do you start doing right now? How do you shift your mindset so that it may be slow and that's okay, but you know where to start and just the path forward? So we'll be talking about those 4 key things.
Absolutely. I think this is going to really demystify the entire topic with real-world examples, and of course, with a practitioner like yourself, I think a lot of people will be inspired by your keynote.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you again. Thank you.